Hey, the better rifle. Drop the gun! Oh, shit! I'm hit. I'm okay. But I'm not gonna die.
All right, we're here today with my buddy Ryan. Ryan, he's a retired police officer, not currently an officer anymore.
Is it retired? Is it
I
called
think he
retired?
counts retired. Did you, when you quit?
Well, I quit, but I don't want to say that.
You weren't
like,
fired.
No.
Yeah.
I just froze everything and
Yeah.
decided to do something different.
So Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? How long were you an officer? What did you do before you became an officer, and what have you done since?
So I floated around as a substitute teacher for high school for a couple of years, or not about a year, a couple of months, and I played college football prior to, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I kind of did a couple odd end jobs.
Tell us about football. Where did you play football?
I played football at Fresno State, and it was cool.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. Got a scholarship there, and then afterwards came back and was kind of just floating around. I was working on a cattle ranch for a little bit, and then I became a substitute teacher, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I took a ride along because the police was hiring.
Yeah.
So I took a ride along, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, this is really cool. The guys were cool. The environment, because I was missing kind of a team environment.
Yeah.
You know, the camaraderie.
Yeah.
I had it with football, and then, and all other stuff. It was just kind of me by myself. And that's okay sometimes. But I was, 23, 24 years old.
Yeah, you were.
And so then I took a ride along and then went to the academy.
How was that?
It was a great experience. It was fun. It's funny because everybody, at least all the cops that I know, they have the hardest academy, right? Everybody talks about how hard their academy was.
Yeah. All the new ones are never as good. Back in my day, it was so much more difficult. That kind of stuff.
Exactly. Met a lot of great people in that academy. There was some fun times in that one too. And then when I graduated, I went right to patrol like everybody does. And I did that for a few years, weekends, midnights. And then I went to the gang unit. I was there for 2 years. Became a member of the SWAT team.
There you go.
Was there for 4 years, something around there. And then I just bounced around community relations. I was there for a year. And then after community relations, I went to the Palace Center. Excuse me.
The Police Activities League.
Police Activities League, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was there for a year until I decided to, and I got promoted to senior, but I was there until I decided to try something else.
Yeah. So what are you doing now?
Now I'm doing commercial real estate.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's fun. Got a couple other things that, I'm figuring out, but that's kind of where my passion is. And it's a lot safer.
Okay.
And less stressful. It's
less stressful?
Yeah. Because
how's your stress level been since you?
Oh my gosh. It's wild. It's actually wild. And I talk to some of my old partners and stuff, and it's crazy to finally step back and,
Yeah. So how long were you an officer for?
8 years.
8 years, yeah.
8 years, yeah. So, and statistically speaking, isn't like 8 years kind of.
That's like one of the markers where people go like frequently. It's like 4 or 5 and then 8. And then, yeah.
It's kind of like, and I love it. I still love the people. I miss the people the most. My partners, all my partners there, and all the people. It was great. But I just wanted to try something different, So.
All right. You want to talk to us about because we're in California, and in California, drugs used to be illegal, and now they're not really illegal anymore. Yeah.
It was crazy because when I started. Meth and heroin and stuff in our state was a felony.
Yeah.
So it was a good pinch when back then when you got some drugs on somebody, it was exciting because it's a felony.
Yeah.
And it's the law had some teeth behind it, but now
it's not.
Yeah.
And how things turn out in California now?
Right.
Pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
People are just openly smoking meth now. It's insane. But whatever. I mean, we could go on for right.
Yeah, whatever. It's not our job to legislate.
Right. So when I first started, I made I made a car stop, and it was a well-known active
High crime area.
High crime area, yeah. And the guy that was the person that I stopped had a reputation for being a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember taking him out. He was on parole, and so I searched him, and then lo and behold, there was some drugs in his pants. And so I put him in the back of my car. And at this time, my boss shows up, or my sergeant shows up, and he's like, "Oh, good job, Skids! Like, good job." And I'm kind of excited. And so it was like just to the amount was like right on the point of like possibly being
barely a usable amount.
I mean, well, no, it was it was bigger, but I just wanted to weigh it because I didn't know how much was there, and I put it in. I don't know if they still do it, but you would put that how much it weighed.
Yeah.
In the deal, and we didn't even test it back then. The crime lab tested it. But anyways, I had gotten a scale, and it was on the back of my trunk, and I put the baggie on there, and I don't know, it was an act of God, but like a gust of wind comes, and it just like powder just.
So your mouth is just blown everywhere.
And like my boss is right behind me. The guy's in the back of the car already. Like I'm getting ready to call a tow truck. Like this thing's wrapped up. Yeah. And so like it goes poof, and like the little bag falls off, and I turn around and like look at my boss, and I'm like, like palms up, like what do I do? Yeah. And he's like, what are you gonna arrest him for now? And I'm like, well, he had drugs, and I'm like, well, does he have the drugs now? And I'm like, no. Well, and he's like, it's his lucky day.
Yeah. You're like that scene in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when they're trying to do cocaine in the convertible. You like look over. Do you see what God just did to us?
Oh, dude, but it was funny because I let the guy go.
So yeah, he's just in the wind.
He was just in the wind,
like,
and so
like the meth.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really certain it was crystal meth. Yeah, squeeze that. But yeah, he was just like the guy was like, well, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's your lucky day, man.
Yep.
All right, see you later." That was embarrassing too. But.
Nice. I want to talk to you about some of the dirtier parts of police work. You had a time where you had an exposure.
Oh,
bloodborne pathogen exposure.
Yeah. I was with an old school cop. I was partnering with him, Steve. Mm-hmm. Steve, been around a long time.
Yeah.
And we made a stop on a guy on a bike who was taking off on us, and eventually we pulling him over, and we ended up getting him. And I'm doing a standard handcuffing. I'm doing standard searching procedures and stuff. And I go over and I swipe his pocket, and he had a needle sticking out. Mm-hmm. And I knew immediately. I took my glove off and like squeezed my finger, and I saw it. And like I started freaking out, because the guy didn't look the greatest. Yeah, he didn't look like a healthy person at all.
He didn't like eat really clean and exercise a lot.
Yeah.
Take regular showers.
Yeah. And just disgusting skin.
Yeah.
I guess you could say. Yeah. A creature, a reptile.
Yeah. He had a real reptilian appearance.
Yeah. I mean, he was a scary looking dude, and I just got stabbed by his needle.
Yeah.
And
it's probably fine.
Oh man. So I go to the doctor. They take me right away and down to the place where I guess they take you.
Yeah.
And doctor's like, hey, look, man, your odds are fairly what are my odds? Well, I'm more worried about all the hepatitis stuff.
Like you probably AIDS. Don't have, if he has AIDS, you probably didn't get AIDS.
Yeah. It's I think it was like a 1 in 150 chance of contracting an actual AIDS.
It's pretty good odds.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take them. Yeah. So they had a tray of all the potions that all the shots, and they're like, well, we could give you these shots. And I just pull my pants down, mm-hmm. and they just loaded me up with all these shots. And then they were like, yeah, we're going to have to test you in a few months to make sure, because I guess HIV doesn't show up for several months. Yeah. Well, I just got married. And so the doctor's like, yeah, I mean, there's a chance you could have AIDS or HIV. You contracted HIV. Yeah. And, that could be transmitted.
Yeah.
And,
she was upset about that?
No, dude. She said, till death do us part. We got married, right? Doesn't he say that?
You signed up for this.
She said, yeah, if I have it, you have it.
Yeah. We have it. What is
That's
that?
Terrible.
What is that cliffhanger movie? If you go, we go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, but thank God I didn't have it. And I don't.
Yeah.
anyways.
Good, man.
Yeah, that was fun. But it was a story that I'm thinking about clearly now was about that same scale. So I guess back then, I don't know if you could do it now, but back then you could go to the property room and you could get, if you needed a certain tool or something that they confiscated, if it's been there a while, like you could
stuff that they're dispoing.
Yeah. And so like I wanted to get a scale so I could weigh some stuff. And so when I got this scale, the lady, I signed some stuff. The lady checked it out and gave it to me. And I was with one of my bosses. He was with me because he showed me how to do it because I was a newer cop. And as we're walking away, I'm holding the scale, and it's, a square little drug scale, and it has like a bunch of white residue on it still from like drugs on it. And so I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, hey, like there's stuff on it. And he's like, well, don't lick it, dumbass. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, sorry.
Why don't you use a Lysol wipe?
That's all I did. Yeah, I just got a Lysol wipe and wiped it off. And I'm like, God, I'm an idiot. I'm like, so stupid. Like, okay, I won't lick it. Yeah. So, anyways,
yeah, nice. Well, speaking of diseases, back in 2020, there was a disease allegedly going around where we had to shut
China?
From China,
yeah,
where we had to shut down the whole world and stop doing police work. And I think we might have talked about it before. There was the whole state of California was on fire during that time. Yeah. And I was talking about this with Brandon the other day, and how they were putting. Remember the AQI? We had to get the AQI every hour. They would tell us. Like, you couldn't. It was the smoke was so bad you couldn't see across the street. But they're like, "Hey, the air quality's bad." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." But so when someone would get COVID, they would get put off on 10 days of quarantine. They would send them home, and we were working midnights together. And I was the supervisor, and you were partnered up with someone, and you guys had a little COVID.
We did.
Well, the way it worked is that the shift was supposed to have like between 15 and 17 officers for the shift, but because of COVID, every time someone would get COVID, they would go off, and anyone that they were around would have to go off too. So there was a day where we had like 6 officers at one point.
There's some people that took advantage of that. Kind of annoyed
really?
me.
You think?
Yeah, it kind of annoyed me though because our crew was pretty solid, and so we all took care of each other. It's like, we're not going to do this. Like this is not a thing.
But basically, a shift it's supposed to be like 17 officers was down to staff the appropriate area that we were responsible for managing was down to like 6 officers, which is a public safety concern. All because some people have the sniffles. Or not even that they have it, that they were next to someone who has it. And so now they can't come to work. And now like there's nobody to police the city.
Right.
And so then like you guys got it. And I really respected the fact that instead of like, taking advantage of the system that was in place, you're like, well, someone has to do police work. Yeah. Like there's got to be someone to show up and call 911.
Well, we had talked about it, and it was just all a joke test anyways. Like, it was like, oh, we're pretty sure we have COVID. Like, And I was like, hey, dude, can you like smell or taste? Like, no. I was like, me either.
Well, you both can't smell or taste, so
yeah. So it's just like, and we kind of just were like, okay, whatever.
And you guys were riding a car together.
We were riding in a car together, and then we go to like.
So you guys were self-quarantined.
Yeah, we're fine. Yeah. And we go to that night. It was funny, right? When we were like, I guess the height of it, when we figured out we had it, we were like, oh, let's. And it's really bad. I ate really like when I was a cop, I ate terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I eat so much better now. I'm just saying, like, it's convenient when you're working weekends, midnights, that you go to Jack in the Box.
Yeah, Whole Foods isn't usually open.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's nothing available besides
at 2 a.m.
junk food. Yeah. So we don't taste anything. We don't smell anything. And what do? We go to Taco Bell and eat $30 worth of Taco Bell. And it's just like, what are we doing here when we could be eating a salad and we're not tasting anything?
You just chomp it down on a burrito supreme. You have no idea what's going in your mouth.
What are we doing here? Yeah. Just feeling awful afterwards. It's like, I feel worse. I feel worse of more the Taco Bell than I do of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you have to go to the toilet.
Jack my stomach up more.
Getting a Taco Bell cleanse.
Yeah.
One of the other supervisors on that shift, he was doing the what's it called? The carnivore diet. He was eating nothing but meat.
Yeah.
And then he was on it for weeks.
He lost some weight too.
Lost some weight, got cleaned up, and then he's got a real Taco Bell addiction. And so he slipped and he went off and went and had some Taco Bell. And I was jamming up. I'm like, dude, like, why? Like, I thought you were on the carnivore thing. And he's like, well, Taco Bell doesn't actually count because like it doesn't stay in your system at all. It just goes right through. It's like Taco Bell's basically like getting a cleanse,
It's true. There's something about it.
Just shoots right out the other end.
Yeah, and there was. I don't know, we could go into the mask thing, but everybody was wearing masks during that time. It was like mandated.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote about that a little bit on the Substack a while ago. Because
that was a great article.
The COVID started in March of 2020, so we're all like, oh, scared, and like it started putting this COVID procedures, and then George Floyd happened Memorial Day weekend of 2020. So it's like COVID had been going on for like almost 3 months at that point, and everything shut down, and we're like not doing the COVID stuff anymore. And like at that point, I probably knew 40 or 50 people by that time who had it and then like recovered, and so like. I didn't know anybody who was like had anything worse than like flu-like symptoms and then they were better. So I was like, I'm not afraid of this. Like if I get it, like I've been sick before, like whatever. And so it kind of settled down now, guys. And then George Floyd thing happens and all the restrictions go away for like a whole week. Everyone's just breathing on each other and all over each other. And then after like that week, we come back to work and they're like, oh, we're mask procedures. You can't be in the building. You can only go in the building through this door and this and that. I'm like, wait, I thought we were over this now. And so after that, I was like, no, I'm done. I'm not playing COVID anymore. Like, I'm not engaging in COVID theater. I'm not wearing that mask. So somebody would be like, hey, you need to wear your mask. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not wearing that cuck muzzle. Like, I'm not putting that shit on my face. Like, you want to put it on your face, you can do whatever you want with your face, but you don't get to tell me what to do with my face.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was on a midnight shift and there was a memo that came out that basically said that, like to all sergeants, that if one of your troops doesn't wear the mask, then you need to write them up.
Yeah.
And so the boss that I was working for at the time, I respected him. And so I didn't want to, like, if anyone was around, I didn't want to get him in trouble. Not that he didn't care at all about it, but.
Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't. I shouldn't say it. But so then I would wear it. And after a while, I just stopped wearing it this is a joke, but.
Yeah.
But somebody on that shift wrote on my mask. So I wear the mask, I go inside, and it was a morning, and I saw the chief who was walking through the building, and I saw a couple of captains, I saw a lieutenant.
Walking around with a mask on your face.
Walking around with a mask on my face, and everybody else had a mask too. And I'm like, hello, good morning, hello, And the last guy finally was like, hey, you might want to change your mask. And I take my mask off, and I look, and it says cuck in large letters that they wrote on it.
Across the front of your mask.
And I'm like, yeah, my partner. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, it's like, I just freaking talked to the chief. He didn't say a word to me. Like, what the heck, dude? It's so bad. It's like, what is wrong with you people? But that's, and in all seriousness, like, that's what I miss. I miss the guys. Like, I miss the banter is what we talk about. Like, like you would assume that at SWAT practice that you talk about all this male testosterone that we talk about females, right?
Not mentioned at all.
Not at all.
Nobody cares about girls whatsoever.
It's just all about guns and dudes and
just dick and fart jokes.
That's it, man. Yeah, and it's fantastic.
And gay chicken.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so that reminds me. I did a search warrant. I think it was like related to the cartel somehow or something, and not really too sure, but from what I remember, it was like way out in the boonies, and we go in there, and it's an actual like cockfighting ring.
Yeah.
And so there's like a giant barn.
Yeah.
It was full of roosters.
Yeah.
And the whole entire day, like we're like digging. I remember we were digging in each little pen.
Yeah,
because they're like, there's drugs. There's going to be a bunch of drugs.
Drugs buried in the pens.
Yeah. And so like.
And there's chickens or roosters everywhere.
There's roosters everywhere. And then all of a sudden, like, here it comes. Like, oh, look at that big black cock over there.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this pretty cock over here. Look at how small that cock is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, the cocks are fighting.
Yeah.
Like, it was just nonstop. Yeah. And it was like, and the funny part is that they didn't stop, and it was still funny
it
after
just, it just never ends. Yeah.
Like,
man, this is the second most cocks I've seen today.
It just kept going and going. What are we going to do with all these cocks? Like, yeah. So it was... That's something that I always like. That's truly what I miss. Yeah, because if I try to talk like that,
in commercial real estate, are they talking a lot about cocks?
Like, what is the matter with you? And I'm like, me? What's the matter with you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a price. We talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into detail of
what your bottom dollar is. Yeah. They don't play bottom dollar in commercial real estate.
They don't do it.
No.
They just think I'm weird for asking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but that's what I miss is playing the bottom dollar game for sure.
Nice.
Yep. So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah.
Man.
Heck yeah.
Thanks
dude.
for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Hanging out with us.
It's good stuff.
It's good seeing you, buddy.
You too, brother. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate having you. So everybody out there listening, thanks for listening and stay frosty.